Happy Sunday morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of Virtual Judson Sunday School. I'm your old pal, Andy France, here with the bittersweet announcement that I am officially retiring as Grand Poobah of Judson Sunday School. Recently, I was inspired to make some rather significant changes in my life, to leave the world of Sunday school behind so that I might pursue my lifelong dream of becoming a professional magician. Now, I just dropped my letter of resignation off in Micah's office. He wasn't there yet, but I'm sure he'll be in soon. After today, you can no longer call me the Grand Poobah. From now on, you'll have to refer to me as the Great Andini. The Great which Dini? The Great what Dini? The Great Houdini? No, the Great Andini. Now, I wanted to be able to perform my entire magic act for you this morning as a way of saying thank you for all of the years you've allowed me to be your Grand Poobah. But my agent has informed me that I can't really afford to do that anymore. Now that I'm no longer raking in the big Grand Poobah bucks. So instead, I will perform one magic trick for you this morning. But again, one last time, let me just say thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to have been your Grand Poobah all these years. And so, without further ado, I will now attempt to pull a rabbit out of my hat. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there is nothing up my sleeves, and there is nothing in my hat, nor is there anything in my head. On my head. Sorry. I'm still learning my magician's patter. And so I will now place my hat back on my head, and with my magic wand, I will tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And now I will say the magic words, hocus pocus, holy schmokus. And now I will remove my hat, and you're not a rabbit. Let me try that one more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there is nothing up my sleeves, and there is nothing in my hat, and nothing on my head. I will now place my hat on my head, and I will tap my hat 3 times with my magic wand. 1, 2, 3. And now I will say the magic words, hocus pocus, holy schmokus. And now I will remove my hat. Oh no, a skunk? Ugh. I must be doing something wrong. Let me try one more time, okay? All right. Nothing on my sleeves, nothing in my hat, nothing on my head. I will place my hat on my head, and this time, maybe if I tap my head a little harder, it'll work. So I will tap my hat 3 times with my magic wand. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, wow. All right. And so now I will say the magic words. Hocus pocus. Everything's a little out of focus. And now I will remove my hat. And wait a minute. Oh, brother. Well, it's definitely magic. But there's no rabbit in there. I'll tell you what, let me try it one more time. This time I'll use some different magic words, okay? Let me get rid of these scarves. All right, here we go again. Thank you for your patience. Sleeves, hat, head, hat on the head. Tap the hat 3 times. Not so hard this time. 1, 2, 3. And now I will attempt to say something different. Abracadabra. Don't let Steve Miller grab you. And with that, I will remove my hat. And Barack Obama? Oh man, how did you get in there? I wonder if I can still get my old job back. Stupid magic career. I tell you what, I'm going to do it one last time, and then that's it. Stupid sleeves, stupid hat, stupid head. I will now say, tap my hat 3 times. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And now, I will say the magic words. You used to be Cupid, now you're looking pretty stupid. And now I will remove my hat, and, wait, come on, grab it. Shark! Yikes! I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's forget all that talk about retirement. I'm going to run over to Micah's office real quick, see if I can't find that resignation letter I left. You kids sit tight. I'll be right back. I think he ate the rabbit. Well, I'm back, kids, and I've got my resignation letter. Apparently, Micah's sleeping in this morning, so shh. Whatever Micah doesn't know won't hurt me. I'm back in the Grand Poobah business, babies. So, earlier I said that I had recently been inspired to give magic a try. And the woman who inspired me, Malala Yousafzai, is an inspiration herself. And we're going to get to Malala's story just a few minutes. But first, I want to make sure that we all understand what the word inspiration means, which, by the way, inspiration is our word of the day. There it is. What does inspiration mean? Well, inspiration is that feeling of excitement or enthusiasm we get from someone or something that has an influence on us, that lifts us up out of our ordinary existence, if only for a moment or two, causing us to want to do something or achieve something or create something ourselves. The word inspiration comes from an old Latin word, inspiratus, which means to breathe into, as in the drawing of air into your lungs, like this, like that. That's the feeling we get when we are inspired. It's almost like we are taking in new breath. So, what kind of things inspire you? If you're like me, they might include, Mother Nature. There is nothing like the beauty of a sunrise or a hike in the mountains or sitting on a beach just enjoying the waves. There is some sort of a connection we feel with nature that can lift us up. There is the ability to luxuriate in its calming influence. Speaking of calm, another thing that inspires me is New York City, the opposite of calm. Have you ever landed at LaGuardia or JFK? You've hopped into a taxi and you're on your way home when you get that first glimpse of the city skyline and you feel that immediate rush of energy, all of those unlimited possibilities that the city has in store for you. That's inspiration. How about the arts? Whether it's fine arts like paintings or sculpture or drawings or music, theater, dance, literature, poetry, any of those things. There's something about the arts that when we are exposed to a new perspective through a work of art of some kind, if we feel the emotions or memories that can be found in a song that can inspire us, or we get new ideas or perhaps old ideas with new expressions in works in the theater or literature that can lift us up out of our normal, limited existence. Speaking of limitations, how about travel? Does travel ever inspire you? There's something about going to a new culture, experiencing a new culture that just broadens our own horizons, literally and figuratively. There's something about traveling that inspires us when we see just how much bigger the world actually is than our limited world. Just a couple more. How about acts of kindness? There is something about seeing people helping other people for no personal gain that inspires us, that awakens acts of kindness in us. And last but not least, how about the lives of others? Just look around. We are witnesses every day to people who prove that nothing is impossible. So those are just some things that can inspire us. Now, we're in the month of March. The month of March is Women's History Month, and the subject of today's lesson, Malala Yousafzai, is a living, thank God, inspiration to all of us. So let's watch this morning's video and learn a little something about Malala Yousafzai.
It is time to have fun learning about a girl who helped change the lives of many other girls named Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai made her mark on history, known as a children's and women's rights activist. Malala was born on July 12, 1997, in Mingora, Pakistan, in Swat Valley. Things quickly changed in Malala's life when a group called the Taliban attacked a girls' school in her area. This was because in Pakistan, the Taliban would not allow girls to go to school, and if they did, they would be killed. Because of this Taliban ban on school, many schools shut down, afraid that they would kill young girls. This did not stop Malala. In September 2008, she gave a speech where she spoke out asking, "How dare the Taliban take away my basic right to education?" That was just the start of her story, as Malala took to blogging. She used her blog to tell the world about her life and what it was like to live with the Taliban stopping her and other girls from receiving an education. Like many authors in history, she used the blog to voice her opinion, and she wrote under the name Gul Makai to hide her identity from the Taliban or anyone who did not agree with her blogging. For Malala's work and courage, she was nominated for the International Children's Peace Prize in 2011 and awarded Pakistan's National Youth Peace Prize. Now, if this didn't make the Taliban happy, this would lead to the Taliban saying they would kill Malala for speaking out. Doing things like this is very bad, and people like this practice hate and not love. Like on October 9, 2012, a man wearing a mask entered Malala's school bus and hurt her very bad. Now, because of this man practicing hate and hurting Malala, she had to spend a lot of time in the hospital, and doctors had to do many operations to help Malala become well again and save her life. After treatment, Malala returned to school. On her 16th birthday, with many people supporting her from around the world, Malala returned, letting her voice be heard, delivering a speech to the United Nations. Continuing to write, this time she put her life on display with her autobiography, I Am Malala, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. Malala would continue to speak up for the rights of children and women around the world, and her works were recognized in October 2014. This is where at the age of 17, she would receive the Nobel Peace Prize, becoming the youngest person ever to receive it. Malala continues to work fighting for global education and being a voice in the world that all people matter and all children have a right to education. So hey, I hope you enjoyed learning about the life of Malala Yousafzai. And I hope you had fun learning with FRESBERG cartoon.
So kids, now that we've learned a little something about Malala, let's spend a few minutes talking about God and girls and religion and the Taliban. First of all, what is a religion? A religion is nothing more than a particular system of beliefs about God. Now, there are lots and lots of religions in the world, as I know you know, because there are lots and lots of different people in the world, all with their own particular ideas about God. There's Christianity, and there's Judaism, and there's Islam, just to name 3 religions. Now, one thing these 3 religions have in common is that they are all ancient. They are thousands and thousands of years old. And another thing these 3 religions have in common is that their origins, their beginnings, are patriarchal. That is, they were controlled by men. Men held all of the authority in those days. They had all of the power. Women in those days were considered little more than property. Another thing about this patriarchy was that it was reflected in the scriptures of their holy books, which, if you remember from past Sunday school lessons, did not fall magically down from the sky, having been written by God, but were actually written right here on earth by men. Now, that doesn't take away from the beauty of the books or any wisdom found therein, but those holy books remain a reflection of those patriarchal views in which God is portrayed as male, and women were instructed to be subservient, obedient to men. Now, the world has changed tremendously over the years, with women having risen in power and authority. And yet, change has always come slow to religion because of people who insist that those old patriarchal views were actually inspired by God. That is, they were God's preferred ways. And to make matters worse, there are some people in the world who take those patriarchal beliefs to extremes. People like the Taliban, an organization that came to power in parts of Afghanistan and parts of Pakistan in the mid-1990s. The Taliban was determined to brutally enforce their strict interpretation of the Quran, the Islamic holy book. Their interpretation included things like outlawing movies, television, even music, requiring all men to grow beards, and forbidding education for any female over the age of 10 years old. That is why someone like Malala Yousafzai serves as such an inspiration for us today, because even as a young girl, not much older than many of you, she recognized the importance of education for girls and women, and she also recognized the importance of standing up to those who would use God to exclude others, to hurt others, even to kill. What did we say earlier about inspiration? That it has the power to not only lift us up, but allow us to want to lift others up. Malala herself once said, "I hope my story inspires you to find the magic in your life and to always speak up for what you believe in." So, let's wrap up this lesson with a little scripture quoting of my own. Why should the fundies have all the fun? I am thinking of a particular beautiful passage of poetry found in Psalm 139 that reads in part, "For it was you, God, who created my inmost being, who knit me together in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Marvelous are your works that my soul knows so well." Now that's for boys and girls. That's for men and women. The good news for us today is that even though our religions are patriarchal in nature, God isn't. Never has been and never will be. And girls, don't you ever let anyone tell you otherwise. So kids, we have a great children's story by Malala Yousafzai coming up. But first, let's sing. And I promised you a new song. This song is a classic song by a classic American songwriter. It's called Don't Fence Me In by Cole Porter. It's not a kind of song that you need to learn like you're going to do a solo on video and that will be put into the service. I think this is going to be like a song that we will have everybody sing during the Kids' Day service in June. It's my first Kids' Day reference of the new year. So anyway, I just had this image of everybody getting all vaccinated up, and we heard this week that it might happen for at least all of the adults by the beginning of the summer, and don't get your hopes up, but the summer is less than 100 days away. How's that for optimism? So I just had this image of everybody just hitting the open road saying, don't fence me in. I can't take in another day in my apartment. I'm going somewhere. So I thought this would be a good song for us to sing. So if you have your picture lyrics, I emailed on Friday to your moms and dads. We will go through them. We'll just do the first half of the song, and it goes like this. On the very first page, you see an O and the giving tree. Remember that old story? Oh, give despicable me land. That picture is going to come back and forth. So, oh, give me land. You have a parking lot, lots of land. Underdog to save the day. That's much older than any of you know. Under starry skies. We got a little Vincent van Gogh happening there in that picture. Under starry skies, that arrow is going up. We'll use it for the word above. Under starry skies above. Turn the page, and here is a repeating line, don't fence me in. We have don't let the pigeon drive the bus, that old classic story. Don't, and then we have a fence with some sunflowers on it. Don't fence, despicable me, and the letter N. Don't fence me in. And then we say, let me ride through. That guy's been throwing that water balloon for years now. The wide, he's holding his arms open wide. Let me ride through the wide open. He's opening the door. Country. Open country that I love. Oh, he's in love. His heart's coming out of his chest. And then we say it again. Don't fence me in. Turn to page 3. That's the lettuce again. Let me be by, she says to the school bus, myself. Now, this is a new picture. You should Google the Marx Brothers. If I don't do anything else for you, that's the gospel I should be introducing you to, the Marx Brothers. This is a classic in which Groucho Marx sees himself in a mirror and then a third version of himself in a mirror. So anyway, Google that. Let me be by myself. In the evening, you see the evening dusk there, evening breeze, listen to the Simpsons. Everybody's saying, murmur, 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 murmur. Listen to the murmur, cotton candy, wood, and trees. Of the cottonwood trees, and here's our last bit for this day, he's sending off a letter. I'm going to send myself a letter. Send me off, that's stuff to keep bugs off you, forever, ever-ready batteries, but from Brave, she's exposing her behind. Where's that a he? I can't remember. But I ask, question marks, you, please. She's saying, please. And what's the last line read? Don't fence me in. So, let me sing it. There are 2 pages here, Andy. Please try and get it together. Okay, here we go. I'll sing it through, and then you'll try it with me, and then you'll practice on your own this week if you want to. Oh, give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above. Turn the page. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Turn to page 3. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Turn the page. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Easy breezy, cover girl. Let's do that one more time, and then we'll take it again next week. From the top, the pages are in order. Oh, give me land. Are you ready? I'll take it slower this time. Oh, give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above. Turn the page. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Turn to page 3. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Turn the page. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. We'll learn some more next week. So kids, you want to grow up and become a grand poobah, huh? Well, you better work on your pronunciations. You'll have weeks like last week with Kamala and her mother Shamala, and today's story about Malala Yousafzai. Malala has written several books, but I'm partial to this children's book called Malala's Magic Pencil, which, written by Malala Yousafzai and illustrated by the cartooning husband and wife who go by this pen name, Carrescoet. Carrescoet. It just doesn't get easy, does it, kids? So let's read Malala's Magic Pencil. Do you believe in magic? When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry, and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. How I wanted a magic pencil, too. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me, stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning. Oh, kids, that would be some magic pencil. Erase the smell of the rubbish dump near our house. Rubbish is another word for trash, in case you're unfamiliar with it. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so he could open many schools where children would study for free. A proper ball, so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own. And every morning I would wake up and check my cupboard, but the magic pencil was never there. One day, I was throwing away potato peelings and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes, when I saw a girl about my age sorting rubbish into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I'd seen. It made him sad. "Abba," I said. "Yes, Johnny," which means dear one. I always liked it when he called me dear one. "Why haven't I seen that girl in my class?" "Because," he said, but he didn't finish right away. "Because, Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school. And some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find. If they went to school, their families would go hungry. School was my favorite place, but I had never considered myself lucky to be able to go. My father had always said, Malala will live free as a bird. Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night I thought about families who didn't have enough food, and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how, when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew then that if I had the magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then, I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden from attending school. They walked the streets of our city now. They carried weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. Abba, where are all the students? They don't feel safe here anymore, Johnny. How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought, they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt like to be scared to walk to school and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled around my country, sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. I don't know if you can see this picture, but Malala is wearing a hospital gown. You can see it ties in the back, and she has the wristband that hospital patients wear. And now my voice is louder than ever. Louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need. Help people in danger, even if they are an ocean away. Think of the world as a family. We have lots of signs. Brave Malala. Malala, you are the pride of Pakistan. We stand with Malala. I am Malala. Education is a basic human right. Do you still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know it and help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for in my words and in my work. And these pictures are from Malala's address to the United Nations. It reads, I am Malala. I've always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place, and every day I work to make my wish come true. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. And just to tell you how the world has changed, Malala and her father formed a nonprofit organization called the Malala Fund, which has raised millions of dollars to help educate girls around the world, buying everything from school supplies to actually building schools in places like her valley, the Swat Valley of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Latin America, Africa, and India. Malala's magic pencil. Well, boys and girls, it looks like we've managed to do it again. We've somehow gotten through another episode of Virtual Judson Sunday School. I want to thank you for being with me today. As always, I want to thank Andre and Michelle for their being with me today as well, and for all of their help. And Andre, would you keep the cameras rolling? Boys and girls, I am determined to pull a rabbit out of my hat, and this is going to be my last chance. So let's give it a try. What do you say? All right, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing up my sleeve, and there is nothing in my hat, and nothing on my head. I will now place my hat back on my head, tap my hat with my magic wand 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and I will now repeat the magic words. The great Andini, he is Thruba. How about a little magic out of the Grand Poobah? And with that, I will remove my hat. And, hey, what do you know? It actually worked. It's a rabbit. And with that, the great Andini is officially retired. The Grand Poobah will see you next time on Virtual Judson Sunday School. Oh, you are beyond cute, aren't you?